Get rid of the negative thought of the problem. You can have a great machinery, beautiful setup, beautiful product, beautiful sales, but if you don't have the right people, all that is going to be really soon a big mess. The last year, 2024, we doubled our size, and they all came into the factory smiling.
Today we're going to talk to Pablo Scarpatti of Scarpati Amoblamientos in Cordoba, Argentina. And they are a high-end woodworking business serving some really unique OEM customers and have done an amazing job transforming their business with standard processes. Let's get into it with Pablo. So Pablo, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization?
Hello, Tom. Hello, everybody. I am Pablo Scarpatti, like you introduced me. With my brother, we have a company which is called Scarpati Amoblamientos. We are in Cordoba, Argentina, which is right in the center of the country. And we manufacture office furniture and also corporative furniture for brands who have many shops around the world, like Volkswagen, Nespresso, Damiani, who manufactures jewelry, Ford, and many others. Um, we started the lean journey 4 years ago. Next 21st of January, it will be 4 years because that's
Wow.
the day I remember because that's the day when I had a big accident. I was driving my bike really fast on a gravel road, and the front wheel decided to be no longer a part of the wheel and flew away. So there I was hitting the floor with a huge impact. So I have
So
a
you're telling me, Pablo, you got into lean because you banged your head?
yeah. So
Cool.
there I was with a like a basketball head, all swallowing, and I am not a calm guy. I like to do many things all the time. So there I was laying on the bed. So I started looking at videos, and that's how I get into 2 second lane with a Paul Akers video. And
Mm-hmm.
well, then the rest is history. I met you, Norm, Alex, and many others that helped me through this lean journey, in which I learned a lot. And now I can say that I am teaching and passing all this knowledge to others. So that's a
Yeah,
really, really nice thing to say.
that 2 second link community is truly amazing. I'm happy to be part of it. The names that you mentioned there's the books in the background here. I wrote one myself. You got Ryan Tierney, Paul Akers, and just an amazing bunch of contributing, helping people. It's fantastic. So one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you, Pablo, is you've got some really unique insights into how you've integrated the standard process journey into what you've done at Scarpati Amoblamientos. Um, let's get into that. Like, I'd love to understand, like, we've a basic framework that I'm exploring with this podcast as part of a book I'm drafting at the moment. And we're looking at alignment, document, uh, implement and improvement, and those four phases and how they apply within different organizations. One of the things that's particularly interesting with your approach is that you don't have any standard products. Everything you do is different. You're working at a very, very high end, demanding customer, super precise, but no two projects are exactly the same. So I'm particularly interested in helping our listeners understand, one, at a very basic level, how did you get your team bought into this process of standardizing processes? Like, how did you get them on board? Because without them on board, the processes are meaningless. So, yeah, can you shed some light on that for us?
Yes, like you said, we have many variations. These variations are from a really complex and expensive furniture and to a really simple one. And this demand is constant, and we always are producing different size, different color, different technology of furniture. So we struggled a lot, and my team was struggling a lot. So I introduced them the standardization concept as a tool so they won't be struggling anymore. And that's
Mm-hmm.
how they got it. Because I say, hey, with this, so it's going to be easier and happier, which it is now.
Mm-hmm.
You can come to my factory on a Monday. We all uh, feel slow or maybe grumpy on Monday because we have to go back to
Especially in
responsibilities,
January when when we're
especially in
recording
January.
this podcast. We all struggle with that.
And you can see on my team when we always expect them and with the top managers on the morning meeting area, and they all came into the factory smiling, and most
Mm-hmm.
of them 20 minutes before the time that they must arrive. So uh, they really get the idea, and then we as a team we worked on those standardizations of uh, processes, and then remember I said the variations. We have super
Mm-hmm.
complex
Yeah.
and super simple furniture. So what we came out is we said, okay, let's start small, and we look at all the things that are repeated in all those processes. For example, in my uh, industry is cutting, applying the edge band, uh, CNC assembly, and wrapping and put it
Mm-hmm.
on the pallet. So those
Mm-hmm.
processes are the same whether the furniture is super complex or super easy. So that's where we start. We set uh, an even floor of where we are going to start with all the standardizations. And then we started focusing on each process.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to one of our machines, you will see many QR codes which show and tell and explain how the machine is turned on, turned off, how you create a program, how you execute a program, and then what if the machine breaks? What if the machine is making a wrong cut or something
Mm-hmm.
not precise?
Troubleshooting. Mm-hmm.
Troubleshooting, right?
So you established that level. And how did you allocate responsibilities to make that happen within the team? Did you do it all? Did the team
No.
leaders of each individual cell, or was it the operators? How did you manage that?
Yeah, that's a good question because you don't have to be the owner of this concept or this idea. Everybody should do it, and it's got to be flat. And we started presenting those standardization QR codes on the morning meeting, so everybody was seeing what it's all about, and everybody was catching the the easier task that it's being developed with a QR code. So everybody say, "Hey, that's better. That's easy. I like that."
Mm-hmm.
So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
all even the one that are not in front of a machine, but are in front of a desk, which is different, but in many aspects is the same. So even they start to realize, hey, that's nice. So right now I'm looking at the server and it's full of QR codes. Just how to
Uh-huh.
turn on the server, where is the Wi-Fi connection, where is the plug, how to restart it, reset it. So everybody hooked on that idea of the
Uh-huh.
standard
Uh-huh. So
processes.
you were showing these standard processes to your team every day as you were developing them
Yes,
to build some momentum and to get people
yeah,
to go, well, I'm going to do that for my process.
yeah, and then all they all started doing, and they all showed that on the morning meeting. So we can
Mm-hmm.
all check and see if it's okay. Are you the one who is understanding it, or we are all understanding it? Because That's a good standard process. And I also did this with one of my daughters, Amparo, which she's 10, and
Wow.
she's working with me on Saturdays because she likes to earn some money. And we came together and said, okay, Amparo, turn on this machine, and she did. And then we go outside, and I say, Amparo, turn on the the power. How you say, the electrical supply power? With it's
Hmm.
a big engine. How you call that? I can
The
translate. The
transformer,
power
the
generator. The power
generator,
generator.
diesel generator. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, it's a really big one. So she I didn't tell her how to do it, and she did. So if a 10-year-old can do it, that's a great standard
Hmm.
process.
Hmm.
It's well shown and well explained. So that was a really huge habit. So everybody was on the train of creating standard processes and with a document or a QR code. And then we moved to the next level, which is super big and super important. We have a skills map, really big one, from receiving the pallet of sheets of laminate until delivering and make the customer sign the document.
Hmm. So
So
all
all
those
the
processes in
processes,
between. Hmm.
everyone.
Now we're getting into implementing. So you've engaged the team to document. So you've got the team to see why the benefits. You're getting it really simple. You're sharing the standard procedures as you create them in the morning meeting that you have every day. People are getting to have input. You're getting to make them good, simple. And now it's about making them real and getting them really implemented with the people. So
Mhm.
you developed your own skill. I will say to the audience, we've that you were a massive inspiration behind GembaDocs creating a skills module. Like your skills matrix, which you're going to describe now. Wait till you hear this, folks. It's amazing. We just took what Pablo did and basically digitized it and made it easy to do. But yeah, Pablo, explain how you're implementing your standard processes with your skills matrix. This is really cool.
So we have a skill matrix, which is it's a table with a board with
Yeah, you've got a huge physical board and you
a
have the
huge, really big one. It's
operators,
6 meters wide.
everybody in the whole organization is listed across the top of it, and you have
Okay.
all your key standard processes along the side, and then each one has a QR code for the standard process. I've seen your video. This is how I'm
Yeah,
able to
yeah, yeah.
explain.
It's really
Each
nice.
one has a QR code which takes you to the standard process, which is viewable on people's mobile phones. You update each cell where each individual in the SOPs intersect. You put like four little quarters.
Yeah, you have all the people with a picture of them, and then all the tasks, each and every step of the production, and where they cross. You have a round with four quadrants
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
circle. So all black, it's an expert. Three, he know how to make the task, and two is on training, and one is learning. Sorry, and then
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
at the beginning of the task, we have a QR code which directs you to a document or a video that show
Mm-hmm.
how that task is made correctly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
was a really big work, which we still are doing because some things improve and things change, and product change, and machine
Yeah.
change and are
Uh-huh.
being improved also. So some of them are changing. Yeah. So with super big skill matrix, we have a teacher all the day, 24
Mm-hmm.
hours. You
Mm-hmm.
want to know how to
Well,
cut wood? There's the explanation. You want to know how to load the trucks? There's the explanation. You want to know how
mm-hmm.
to use the forklift? There's an explanation. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, that's a teacher, and it's teaching exactly the same way always. So
Mm-hmm.
everybody's learning from the same uh, concept, the same idea, and every time we came with a mistake, we review those tasks and improve them.
This is a key point, because this is, for me, the four steps of that book I'm drafting: the alignment, the document. We've talked about both of those. We've talked about implementing around your skills matrix, but how do you keep them improving? So tell us about how you're keeping your standard processes moving and alive. What are you using to do that? What process do you have?
Um, uh, we always have problems every day. So the problems are introduced to the morning meeting, and everybody came up with ideas on how to resolve that problem. And after we came out with the solution, we have one person that's going to implement that solution, and one other person which is going to look if that solution was implemented. So it's like a team, but
Mm-hmm,
this
mm-hmm,
one is the one who make the improvement, and this one is the one who check if that improvement has been made. So that, for now, that's the great solution. And most of the time, that problem solution attaches a QR code or a document for a standard procedure.
mm-hmm. So
So
most of the time you've encountered a problem, and you either, if you have it in a standard process, you're asking, is it followed or not? Did we? Or is there a fundamental problem with the process, and then you're able to update it? And
yes,
that is your countermeasure.
and
Uh-huh.
you come to a beautiful habit, which is get rid of the negative thought of the problem. Every time we have a problem, we started thinking right now about solutions, not
Mm-hmm.
staying talking about the problem, or or uh, being being
Well,
being
it sounds to me like you're really creating a blame-free culture as well. You're not holding the individuals responsible for the problem. You're looking at the process first.
yeah, we don't blame the
Am I
person, we
picking?
blame the
Yeah.
process. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And you're
the
building that
person.
into your culture. You're becoming a much more process focused organization, rather than relying on your people.
Of course, because in
Mm-hmm.
life everything is a process, and
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to blame the person. Maybe he didn't know, he didn't know how to do it. That's the way he was doing it, or I don't know. But it's not the person's problem; it's the process.
We have this we have a lot of phrases, and some of them are cliches in lean,
Mm,
and one of them that people use is attack the process, not the person. And for me, that's great, but if you don't have a documented process, if you don't have an agreed standard process, well, what else are you going to attack? It turns into the person, because you don't have a process. So the very fact of documenting your standard processes is creating a baseline for problem solving. And like, you've taken that to a real other level. Because I've never seen an organization so focused at developing the skills of their people than you. Like, so you've taken, as we've described, we should put in the show notes, we'll put a link to a video for the skills matrix that we were both talking about. But you've developed your talent development system in your company to a level where you've had individuals leave your organization to go and almost be competitors of yours, and you're
yes,
not crying about it. You
not at all.
regard that as a positive attribute of your organization. Do you want to tell us a bit more about that? It's another unique feature of what you're doing, Pablo.
Well, this is a great subject, which we are super proud of. Many people discuss this with us because they didn't understand, but let me explain it so everybody can get it. Um, you can have a great machinery, a super beautiful setup, beautiful product, beautiful sales, everything works great, but if you don't have the right people, all that is going to be really soon a big mess.
Mm-hmm.
So we focus on people because if you have the right team, everything is possible. And remember, we do many different and difficult things. We deliver furniture in other countries with different cultures, and sometimes we go by plane. So we have many difficult things. And in order to solve all the challenges that we came with all these complex projects, we must have a really, really professional team. So we take most of the time on the morning meeting to develop people and always develop them to the extreme, even to let them be uh, a new Scarpati Amoblamientos
Uh-huh.
company.
Uh-huh.
So teach them everything and releasing from them the fear, which is a roof that many people have. They don't want to do things because they're frightened. And sometimes in the production culture, the owners, like myself, have the fear of holding people because they don't want them to go because who else is going to do that task that only he can do? So
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
skills matrix, everybody can do it because everybody can learn. So you don't have a specialist. Everybody can be a specialist. And if you develop people just even to the extreme that they can live and make and grow their own company, um, you don't have a roof. You don't have
I think
a
when whenever I'm hearing you describe that, like you're taking the cap off. If you've got a hose pipe of talent, you've removed the end and it can just flow out. But because you're focused on developing everybody, you don't have to be afraid that such and such left and they formed their own company. There's someone else who's just as capable, able to step in and they grow. And because you've taken the cap off the end of the hose, all the bottom rises and you've
that's
constantly got that
great.
flow. And
That's
so,
another great
yeah.
point because all the team can see that
Mm-hmm.
they can grow. In many organizations, you have the manager, the CEO, or the team leaders, and the people
Yeah.
below look up and say, I can never be in that position because he's the owner of that position. But if
Yes.
everyone is going up, they can all go up. And that's beautiful feeling for someone who is employed.
I think for most of us, there's a mixture of people who are going to be listening to this podcast. There's going to be business owners. There'll be people who are employees. There are going to be people who work in very large organizations.
Mhm.
But especially for those of us who have been in the position of working in a smaller company, and you go, well, I'll never get promoted until he leaves. And it's such a constricting feeling. It's like,
Yeah.
well, what do I do? What, and then I know when I was a younger man in my late 20s and early 30s, I changed my job maybe every 2 or 3 years and I got immense growth from it. But I almost had to if I wanted to grow, because if I wanted to wait for my manager to leave and get promoted or whatever, I could be doing the same role for maybe five,
10
six,
years.
7 years. And like I'd never have grown. So what you've done with creating this positive flowing pipeline is that people don't need to be, oh my God, I have to wait till he leaves to go. I can grow and grow and grow. And the chances are in our organization, I'm going to get the chance to be a manager because we have a good flow of people through there. It's just to help our listeners again, because, I'm a crazy Irish guy. You're the crazy Argentinian guy. But your business, like, just help people understand, like, what have you done in terms of the size of your business over the last 3 or 4 years? Have you doubled it? Have you put it by 10%? What's happened without
Be-
giving away anything too secret?
we can look at a short period of time. The last
Mm-hmm.
year,
Mm-hmm.
2024, we doubled
Mm-hmm.
our size.
Wow.
And
In a single year.
just
Wow.
yesterday, we were having many meetings in order to double it again.
Wow. And how many people are
Yes.
you now, Pablo?
Now we are 34
Wow.
people. We were 17 in January last year.
That is
That, that's
incredible.
that's
And it,
that's
mm, it,
a group of things that happen. First one,
mm,
we are super crazy. We love what we do. Uh, we're not afraid. We love challenges. And the second one is one that I've learned from Ryan Tierney from City Matters, and he said, of course, if you are developing a good develop of a lean culture, all the customers are going to have you because they
mm,
want that the product to be produced from a lean factory. So we have before we were looking for customers, and now we are receiving customers, and
wow.
we must hold them back because it's too
Mm,
much. That's why we are going to
that,
double our size
that,
because we have a really high demand of
mm.
customers.
That's
And
it's amazing. Like within you've built an amazing lean culture. The standard processes have been an essential part of building that culture. But because there are so few companies that do that, no matter what segment or what country or geography you're operating in, the chances are if you take the decision to go this way, you'll be the only one in your niche that do it. And because you provide such exceptional customer experience, good costs, great experience, high value for the customer, you can only grow because your
mhm,
competitors are all standing still behind you
yes,
as you develop. Because again, the reason I'm laboring this point a little bit is because I think when someone hears us talk about putting our people first, developing the talent without fear, I think people can think, oh, that's a very naive, a very, hippie, kind of
that's an
way to
excuse.
talk. Yeah. But I think people use that as an excuse. They think, oh,
Yeah.
it's okay. I'm not that, I'm only interested in the hard business side of it.
Mm,
But the truth of it is, if you develop your business in that way, the numbers will follow. So
yeah.
I'm super excited. I'm glad we got to deep dive into that a little bit. It was really cool. So, Pablo, I'm going to summarize. Is there anything, like, before I summarize what we were talking about, that you feel that you would like the audience to learn about that would help them in their standard process lean journey? Anything we haven't discussed?
Yeah. One thing which is very important, and I realized of this because we receive every Thursday a different company that come to look at our culture and to understand and learn about lean, is that you must be humble. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not humble for me to say it, but you must be humble. I don't know how humble I am, but you have to first say, okay, what I'm doing is good, but I can do it better. And I'm not doing it better. Or what I'm doing is good, but I'm not really good with my people. Or what I'm doing is good, and I'm earning a lot of money, but I can make a really difference for the environment, not only the ecological environment. I'm talking about people all around
Mm-hmm.
because you have suppliers, small ones that need help or need to be developed, and and you have to
Mm-hmm.
accept that you are doing things good or bad, but you can always improve and always have a super good team, and all the people in the work give their best 9 hours to you. Their best
Mm-hmm.
all the best 9 hours of their lives are being put on the working hours. So you as a leader must come back with a super good environment, super good working environment, super healthy, super safe, super
Mm-hmm.
safe. How often do we see on the street or in our companies things that are super insecure or may harm people. You have to develop a super safe environment and super healthy.
Because you're putting the welfare of your people at the top and not just your own employees. You're talking about suppliers and other stakeholders and young people, your community. You're looking at everything in a very holistic way. It's unusual, let's say, to be doing it in reality. A lot of big corporate companies have their big values and their sustainable development goals, but they're really only paying lip service to them. With what you're doing, you're taking time out of your organization. Every Thursday, you're taking outside people in to teach them about what you're doing and help them develop. Like this is again, it sounds like it's a very servant mentality. And one of the phrases that I think in the humble word that you used a lot there, one of my favorite expressions of something similar sentiment is always to be positively dissatisfied. It's we're we're never happy with how it is. It can always be better. So we're positive in our outlook. Yes, everything's good. We're great. People are good. We can always do it. We can always do better. But we're never fully satisfied because there has to be that little bit of humility that says we're not the best. We're not the greatest. There's always a room to improve. So you're really
That's the
summing
beauty
that
of it.
up. You're summing that up nicely. I think whenever you think you know it all, then I think it's time to go home and retire. Pablo, that's amazing. And here, look, I'm just going to try to summarize what we talked about.
Okay.
Like, we talked about how you were aligning your team and getting them on board with helping them understand that the standards are here to make life easier and better for everybody. And you were able to explain that very well. So that when they understand what's in it for them, then they can get on board with it. We talked a lot about your skills matrix, and as I say, we'll put a little video in the show notes that people can see what we're talking about. And we've done that also in GembaDocs now. We've implemented a skills module to help people do that digitally, but helping to build accountability and have a path for growth through the skills matrix is just, you were the inspiration that tipped me into action with GembaDocs to do that. And I want to thank you for that. And then finally, when we look at the improvement, you're improving all the time with as you find problems, you're applying a standard methodology, you're attacking the process, not the person, and you're getting better all the time. And at a very wide level, we talked about your general attitude and values towards putting people development at the top of your priorities, safety first, talent development, putting the other person's needs perhaps above your own, but in the long term, the results show that you will reap the benefits of doing that. So it's been a really, really great conversation. I've really enjoyed it. I think there are so many nuggets in here that we've unearthed for our audience. I hope we have anyway. I think also for you, Pablo, as you touched upon, you're very open to people come and visit you and learn more. Whether they're in Argentina, or they want to make the pilgrimage to your place to visit. I believe this year you're having the Lean 2-Second Lean Summit in your place this summer. There's going to be people from all over the world visiting you. So you're doing this at a high level. And I hope we can make some content. I commit now, I will be visiting you either this year or next. And we'll make some content and show the world what you're doing, because I think the world needs to know.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming on here and giving me your time, Pablo. Thanks for being such a loyal friend. It's great.
Thank you.